Hello guys, welcome back. Now in today's video, as you can see here, we are going to do a 4-star tier list. Obviously, all the 4 stars in the game are pretty capable of doing any content in the game, but in my opinion, there are a little bit of characters in this pool of 4 stars that are a little different, and they are better suited for like future-proof or like scenarios in general. They do more damage, they're more useful, right? Or they might synergize with the characters that are going to be phase 1 and phase 2, the premium ones, the 5-star that are coming on release, which are Ellen Joe and Zuyon. Now, let's start by saying that all the characters are fine, but in my opinion, if I were to put one character or more in S tier, I feel like this is a rank that only belongs to Nicole, okay? So Nicole, why is she S? Nicole is S because she is a support and she has the capability of grouping up people, grouping up monsters, which is really good, especially at least with the tiny monsters, right? Also, you can do some nice combo with application of anomaly. You can build their anomaly build up, or you can build their days build up. And once you do your E, which is one of the group ups, and Q is another group up, which is the ult. But after you do E, she's going to reload her gun with some special bullets. Those special bullets now, if you hit the monsters, they're gonna get debuffed. Their defense goes down. I don't really know the percentage of defense. So if anybody watching this video knows, please let me know. I tried to look everywhere, it doesn't tell us. Pridwin doesn't know, my recording on the character doesn't tell anywhere where the defense shred is, how much it is, but they just say that they lose defense, like their defense gets lowered. So I feel like this is the only character that is like actually useful everywhere, and also a little bit future proof, at least until we get a similar character of maybe another element. Now, why do I say another element? I say another element because in this game you need to remember that these characters have their own element and they have their own factions. She is element Aether, and she is part of the Cunning Hares faction. Now, this has a new mechanic that ZZZ has. There's a new mechanic that basically gives every character 4-star and 5-star a special ability that they only trigger, it's only active whenever they are accompanied by another one of the same either faction or element. So if you have 2 Ethers, or if you have 2 Cunning Hares in her case, now you have her extra passive enabled, which is like a higher stun, I believe. Now, most of the time, these passives might not be crucial, but when you are doing a team building, and I will be making a guide video about team building, when you are making a team, you need to keep this in mind, because you can't really put random characters in without checking what they do, because once they have their extra ability disabled, now you are losing potential DPS, just because you thought that bringing Anton with Ellen Joe and Nicole was a good idea because you really like Anton and Ellen, right? But they don't work together because they're not the same element. No, there's not 2 elements or 2 factions in this team, so you're gonna lose a lot of extra opportunities and a lot of extra buffs that you would have gotten if you brought Soukaku and Ellen instead. So okay, with that in mind, let's continue with the tier list. In my opinion, all of the characters besides Ben are going to be A tier, and I will explain you why Ben is B tier after we talk about the others, okay? Soukaku, A tier. Corin, A tier. Billy, A tier. Actually, bottom A tier in my opinion. Anton, higher. Okay, actually, I think Billy's not that bad, but yeah, and then Anbi. Now, Anbi might go here, because whenever you get Anton, now you're not really using Anbi anymore, because they're not the same faction, and I feel like I prefer Anton way more than Anbi. Maybe Anbi is better for applying anomaly, so it depends what you're trying to do, but at the same time, Anton has a really high application of electricity on the monster, so shock should be really fast when it's in drill mode. I'm not a theory crafter, so if you find any information about these two, like which one is better for applying electricity, like shock, let me know. But if you are running a team such as Rina, for example, Rina is the 5-star equivalent for the Electro, right? So you're going to, or even Miyabi, I believe it's also going to be Electro. So if you have one of these two, they're going to be there on release. Miyabi wasn't there on CBD3, and I didn't have the chance to play with Rina. So I don't know how well they synergize. They're part of two different faction in general. So Miyabi is from the police and Rina is from the Victoria housekeeping. So you could probably opt for any of these two to work with them if you want. But personally, I feel like Anbi, if she's not super bad, she's not as bad as Ben, let's say. So I don't feel like it's that fair to do that. And that's why, am I missing anybody else? No. Okay, so Soukaku. Soukaku is going to be really important if you are pulling Ellen Joe. You also get Soukaku for free, and she is a really, really good enabler for Ice. She's going to do a lot of build-up. She's going to manually trigger the chain action, chain reaction, chain attack from the other characters such as Ellen. So if you are pulling Ellen, you are going to use Soukaku with her because she's really, really good. Even though she can appear to be slow at first, you don't have to have her on field too much. You just have to do fly the flag, which is the E. You plant it down, you do the tornado, you apply a lot of ice buildup, and then you go in with Ellen, which is your main DPS. All right, if you want to do that. Otherwise, you can also bring in Von Lycaon here to play together with them. Okay, so keep that in mind. That's a good option. We're not talking too much about the team building, but it needs to be said a little bit because, you know, these characters have their own reason to be here, right? Corin is another free character. Corin is going to come for free in everybody's account thanks to the pre-register bonus. So she has a very, very big, she's melee, but she's very, 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 very big application of physical damage. So assault build up. So she has a ridiculous amount of hits. You can hold almost every skill to make it go stay longer. She has basically a chainsaw, a circular chainsaw, and when you're doing your attacks, if you hold, she's gonna stay there, like keeping the attacks flowing, and that's gonna be a insane build up, in my opinion, for any combo build up or just a normally assault build up. Okay. So the combo build up briefly. Let's say you applied corruption with Nicole, and now they are corrupted, or they are they're freezing from Ellen, and now if you switch to Corin or Billy, and you attack them many times in a slow period of time, they're going to get another anomaly build on top of the previous one. That is going to cause the disorder, which is a replacement of the anomaly build up, which is going to do more damage. There are many combos, so this is not the video about it, but it's worth saying because these characters are A for a reason. Okay, now Anton, in my opinion, is the reason why MB is here. MB is not bad. The problem with MB is that Anton exists in my opinion. Unless you want to build a cunning hair faction, let's say you got a Nekomata, right? If you got Nekomata, now you could use Nicole and Ambi to one of these two to trigger the extra passive, or just make sure that you're using like Billy maybe, right? There are extra options, in my opinion, that don't require you to use Ambi, sadly. I don't think Ambi is bad. I think Ambi is kind of overshadowed by other characters. Now, speaking of Anton is really, really good when it comes to electro application, electro anomaly build-up application. He has a drill mode. When you press E, it goes into drill mode. It lasts for 30 seconds or whenever as long as your energy permits. And every time you are attacking, if you hold on certain portion of the combo attack, it's going to hold there with the drill and deal a lot of instances of electricity stacks, electro stacks. On top of that, if you have, I believe, C6 or Max Constellation, whatever the constellation are called, Max Max Constellation is going to also have extra triggers of electro stacks while you are doing those real attacks. So it's going to be extremely efficient when it comes to anomaly build up, and that's why, in my opinion, if you're doing like an electro team, you want to prefer Anton instead of Ambi. Ambi has very limited slashes, like you can pause the slashes to then do a bigger one. The E is an upward slash that applies electro. The Q is an upward slash, and then you go down and do some electro damage. But you shouldn't rely too much on the ultimate in Zenless Zone Zero, because you can only do one ultimate per team every time your decibel get to 3000. Otherwise, you cannot do that. Right? Otherwise, you're gonna waste it. So, are you gonna do your ult with Ellen, or are you gonna do your ult with Sokaku? You're gonna do it with Ellen, right? If you want to do some damage. So, this applies for everybody. So, if you're using like Rina or Miyabi, you're gonna want to do the ult with Miyabi. So, Ambi having like a good anomaly build up on her Q, it's good, but also we don't really care about it too much. Okay, so let's move on and talk about Billy. Billy is, let's say I'm gonna say is A. Is A because even though Corin is here, because his range, he has a lot of long range attacks. You can also stand still and shoot kind of endlessly to the enemy, and the anomaly build up there for physical is really, really high. So you can use them to hop around, go around, like dash and like spin around, shooting. And while you're doing the spin, you are invulnerable. So you can do that, the dodge counter, I mean. So if you're doing that, plus all of the other mechanics, you are going to deal a lot of physical damage and a lot of physical build up. Now, you would pair Billy with Nekomata. So if you play Nekomata, then you're gonna use at least Billy or someone else from the Cunning Hairs, and then you're using a physical build-up character. So if you don't want to use Billy because for some reason you don't like him or whatever reason, now you can use Corin, for example. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now let's go. So Billy, it's a decent unit. It's a starter character. You get him for free from just playing the game, as well as Nicole and Ambi. So you're gonna get these three for free when you start the game, and you go from there, right? So, and those, besides these two, Anton and Ben are going to be randomly found in the pools. So keep that in mind, okay? Now, last one is going to be Ben. Why is Ben the last character? Why is Ben low B? Ben is low B because he's very niche. First of all, he's a tank, so not every time you need a tank. If you do need a tank, that's going to be really, really good. He is the only fire 4-star unit at the moment that we have on release, obviously. He pairs very well with Koleda, but Koleda is a standard character that you cannot really get unless you randomly get her from the beginner banner, or you do 300 pulls on the standard banner and then choose her, or you eventually like lose a 50-50 you happen to get her. Now this team becomes a thing, but Koleda is not a DPS. Koleda is a stunner. And Ben is a tank. Ben is the only tank unit in the game, because the other characters, even the support ones, are either anomaly build up or anomaly build up is Grace, for example. And she is a support. For example, Nicole is a support, and the others are also normally build up or supporters, right? So keep that in mind. This is the only tank in the game. You can use this pillar if you time it correctly to actually 100% block the damage that you're about to receive and not receive any damage. You can then do a follow-up. You can get a shield for you, and once you have the shield up, you can also have your crit rate augmented thanks to the combo that you can have with the faction, right? Now, he plays very well with Koleda, and they actually have an exclusive joint attack together if you have them in the same team. Now, that said, they're not a functional team until you add a DPS. And who's the DPS for Fire? Soldier 21 here. So Soldier here is the character that you need to pull somehow with Koleda to then do a proper fire team. Because for now, we do not have a easy to access either 4-star DPS fire or 5-star premium. So we're gonna have to either wait for an extra patches or wait until they add a 4-star that we can get from a banner or for free, right? Because for now, the only fire character, fire 4-star, is a tank. It's the only tank in the game. And those are the reasons why I put it on B, because first of all, it's part of the Belobog industry, so it's not going to work with the other characters. Nobody else is a fire character, so you cannot do the, okay, well, it's not Belobog, but it's going to get its bonus because I can use this other fire character. You can't unless you have either Soldier or Koleda, which are extremely hard to get and a complete RNG. You could get anybody from the main side, from the main beginner banner or from the standard banner, especially if you're free to play. If you're not rerolling, this is not going to happen unless you're extremely lucky. Or even if you are rerolling, you are going against terrible odds as usual, because you can't. Rerolling is really, really bad. I don't know if I'm gonna make a video about rerolling, but this is more or less it. If you disagree with any of these, please let me know in the comments, but tell me why. Don't just say like, wow, L, just tell me why, okay? And I will talk to you, or we can like talk about it in the comments, okay? So let me know. That said, that is it. Consider subscribing, leaving a like to the channel. If you want to see more Zenless on Zero videos, I will be covering this 100%. Everything about the game. I'm gonna make infinite fucking videos, so feel free to subscribe if you want to know more about the game. And I will be streaming the game on release on July 4th on my twitch.tv/Jakazin channel, or you can also come and say hi to my Discord and find new friends to play games with on discord.gg/Jakazin. The link is going to be in description, so in case it's not that link anymore, you will find the correct link in description. Okay, so thank you for watching and see you next time.